Picture this. It's a freezing September night. You're on the side of a river, a raging Canadian river. The entire afternoon, you have been jumping from boulder to boulder to boulder through that river. You've fallen in twice, up to your neck. You have a phone, but no way of contacting anyone because that phone does not have a SIM card that works. It also doesn't have Wi-Fi, of course. You have very little food, just some snacks and some Powerade. You have cigarettes, which is a good thing, and a lighter, but that's all you got. You're on the side of a raging Canadian river at night in September with very little supplies. No one's coming to help you anytime soon.
So I fucked up the trail, I got lost, and now I'm going downstream. I'm on the river. Eventually this should lead me back to another trail, but who fucking knows. I'm around 10 kilometers. I was when I started. I think I've done about 1 kilometer, maybe 2 between that. And the sun is setting in around 40 minutes. See what happens.
That was my situation in late September of 2015. I don't know why, but my Mexican hat, it feels tighter. It's restricting my blood flow. I haven't worn it in a while. And it's kind of, I can feel just less blood going to my brain. I've told this story before in the My Time Living in Canada video, but it deserves its own video because this experience really did affect my life greatly. I had been hiking every day for the best part of a month, and this was just another hike. This was actually one of the easier hikes. You know, it wasn't climbing a mountain or anything like that, this one. This was just hiking to Norvan Falls and turning back around and going home. It just wasn't too hard, but it turned hard. So I got to the waterfall, which I'd been to before, a few times before, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go like 1 kilometer further into the forest. You know, I'm going to keep going. The trail past the waterfall was used less often, so it was kind of more of a wild situation, even more going on. There was no one on it, and I was like, okay, I'll go 1 more kilometer into the forest and I'll find the fork, a sign that says, go this way, you go on this trail, go this way, you go on this trail. I just wanted to see it because I was going to do those hikes further on in the future. So I got to that sign. I was like, there's the sign. Okay. I took a piss and probably smoked. I think I smoked. And then I turned around and then I was completely lost. I spent like maybe 40 minutes going up and down every direction, the direction I came from, all over the place, all around, trying to find the trail, and I couldn't. I just couldn't find the trail. So I decided what I needed to do was to get down onto the river and just walk through the river. So I went down to like the cliff edge, went down a tree, like a really disgusting tree, all broken and moss and slimy. And I got into some boulders, jumped down, I hurt myself, I fell. And then it was the whole afternoon of going boulder to boulder, boulder to boulder, and having to walk through the river itself as well. And I spent all afternoon doing that until it got dark. It started getting dark, and I still hadn't found any opening onto the trail. There was no way back to safety. And at some point, I stopped. I just went to the edge of the river, to a boulder, wet and tired, and smoked, and thought, okay, this is my night. Let's see if I live or I die. Because I had no idea what was going to happen, you know. I could have very well died there. So I smoked a few cigarettes. I calmed down. And then I looked up at the stars, and it was just like a field of diamonds above my head, going on for infinity. And it was beautiful. It was one of the, most beautiful night skies I'd ever seen in my life. And for some reason, while looking at those stars, I just said to myself in my head, fuck this, I'm going home. And I grabbed my backpack, I got myself ready, prepared myself, and then I went. I kept going, and 20 feet away from where I had almost given up and accepted that I'd be there all night was an opening back onto the trail. And it was an opening I knew, and I knew I was safe. I didn't know on that boulder that 20 feet away from me was what I'd been searching for all afternoon. Through everything I'd been through that day, all of the suffering, all of the pain, all of the worry, there was a solution to it. My answer was waiting for me just 20 feet away from where I was, and I couldn't see it because, there was a fallen tree and some boulders in the way. The story would have been lost hiker found dead on the side of a river just 20 feet from safety. That would have been the story. If I would have stayed on that boulder, that would have been the story. I've always been a competitive person and someone who always loves to win and all this stuff. But actually having that experience means so much to me, because whenever I do think of giving up on something whenever I do think of giving up on something I'm very passionate about, it's always no. It's always, no, I love this, I'm going to keep doing this until I get what I want from it. And I have that experience on that river to thank for solidifying, that, giving me something tangible that happened to me that I can go back to and realize. Just think of being on that river and think of being 20 feet away from safety. Yeah, so the moral of this story is never give up. Never give up. And if you find yourself on a Canadian river at night, stranded, then just keep going. Because just like me, you could be 20 feet from safety. And you don't have to die there. And you don't have to, you don't have to die there. So my book with all these stories in, all these travel stories, and more, many more, has to be out this year. It just has to be. I have to do it this year. I have to get it out this year. I've been delaying it over and over and over again. If it's not out by the end of this year, I'm going to swim naked in the Atlantic Ocean in winter. I'll stick to my promise. I will swim naked in the Atlantic Ocean if it doesn't come out. So it's going to come out now.